Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm quite good. How are you?
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Bum, bum, bum.
The media are trying to spoil it now by telling you everything. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I'm dead excited.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Hot intro. Just for the
So we're gonna
for the listeners, we literally turned on and pressed the button. That was good. Good intro.
twin. Humanities. Sorry, I was mixing a monkey.
I'm gonna leave.
That sounds like a crazy euphemism. I was mixing a monkey. As long as you don't wipe me knob on the curd.
Oh, good look. What are you drinking? Okay, what are you drinking?
I don't know. I just bizarrely enough, I've just made a decaf, but I did have a large cold brew before I left work.
CJ's special wobble coffee.
It's just nice to talk to you again, because it's been ages, and I know like we've started too many shows where I've got like, how are you? Oh my god, it's been so long. Like literally, the last time that we spoke was the last time that we spoke.
Check that off your bingo sheet, everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing all right. I was up at work on Sunday, very early today, and I'm in work very early tomorrow as well.
Well, that's bunk.
Wow, you're so US.
I know, right?
Let's start the show.
Yeah.
Have you? Firstly, importantly, have you written anything down?
I've written quite a few things down, actually.
Jesus Christ!
I had a little think this morning.
What a time to be alive!
I know, right? Notes, everything. I'm prepared. We're recording at not an ungodly hour. You know, the sun's still up for one thing. I mean,
it's true.
We are truly still in Bizarro land from the other week.
I know.
So,
should we carry on?
Let's go. E3, man.
Right.
Are you excited?
I know. I am exceptionally excited. I always take the week off anyway, but because it's starting on Saturday this time, I sort of said to my boss, like, you know that thing I always take a week off for every year that you don't quite understand why I take the week off. Yeah, I need the weekend before it as well. Oh, okay then. But they've been really good, so I'm stupidly excited that it's coming a little bit early. Plus, everything seems to be like super squished together, like quite quickly this time, and I'm excited on the face of it. Even before we got into kind of the nuts and bolts of things, that Sony and Microsoft are like crazy close together this time. So it's not as if sort of Sony can sort of sit back and go, right, let's have a think at how we counter all of that. It's like, because I'm sure, I think it was on the Waypoint podcast, they were saying that, maybe Sony have got, in the past, they've had like 2 or 3 versions of like how they'd respond to whatever Microsoft does. And famously, they did the best job when Microsoft stuffed up the launch of the Xbox One with the this is how we share games and all that sort of stuff. It was genius. But it's gonna be interesting. I mean, you
say they're close together. They're on different days, whereas previously they've been on the same day. They're on different days now. I actually think they're more spread apart this year. They're like the press conferences are over about 4 days.
No, sir.
They are.
I think you're wrong. I'm sure. Isn't Microsoft at like 8 p.m. on Sunday and Sony is like 2 a.m. on Monday?
Right, here we go.
Like
Here we go. All right, EA UK 8 p.m. Saturday. Microsoft UK 10 p.m. Sunday. That's PM.
Okay, yeah.
Bethesda 3 a.m. on Sunday. That can catch up that in the morning. PC Gaming Show UK 6 p.m. on Monday. Ubisoft E3 show 9 p.m. UK on Monday, and Sony show is 2 a.m. but Monday. It's technically Tuesday, and then Nintendo is like during the day on Tuesday.
So Sony's pretty much the same place that it always was, but Microsoft's just moved back a bit then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How does that affect the acronym?
I don't know. Let's move on.
You do that. I'm going to quietly work on it, and I'll just shout it when I've worked it out.
Okay. But yeah, I am excited because there's a lot riding on this year, Microsoft wise especially, and I just think it's exciting to see like the Nintendo, bizarrely enough, are stupendously on game at this point and are doing really well. Sony have been doing really well for such a long time. Microsoft have had their rethinks and they've had their ups and downs, but are coming in like on the face of it like quite strong this time. And whichever side you fall on within this, you know, if you have got your own particular tribes and stuff, I've said before that strong competition brings out the best in the brands that you love. So if you're a Sony fan, you want a strong Microsoft because a strong Microsoft will bring out the best in Sony. And likewise, Microsoft, everything that they're trying to do is trying to catch up with an incredibly strong Sony. I don't think any of us saw the Switch doing what it's done, but it's great to see. And I don't know, it just seems to be game on from everybody, and there's lots of sort of random factors that are kicking in as to how everyone plays it and reacts, and the games that are on show, and just giddy. You?
Me? Well, I'm yeah, just like you say, it's going to be a pretty eventful exhibition this year.
Absolutely.
Exhibition.
Okay.
It's not as easy as Ibixison, is it?
No, it isn't. I can't remember what that stood for.
Exhibition. Yeah, like I was sort of doing some thinking and some notes earlier, and like for all, you know, the big, you know, shows at least, you know, there's 4 or 5 things like, oh, maybe that could come out and they could show that and they could do this. Like you say, like it's good that they've all got such strong showings now. You know, we're not waiting for one of the shows to be the crap one. Like they've all got the potential to be the good one. Because you know we all silently sit there ranking them as we go, thinking, oh, that was the best show of the week. But I think there's a good chance of everyone doing a pretty good job this year, which is really good. You know, games are good, man. Games.
I'm excited. I'm
excited. So what I've done is I've kind of gone through like each of the main big guy shows and sort of put some thoughts down about each one as what I think we're going to see. Have you done similar?
I have. I've listed kind of all of the shows, and some of them have just got like a few little bits that they're maybe gonna have there.
And I've got some other stuff at the end, like, you know, general stuff that I think we might see that doesn't quite fit into anything else. Let's kick off at the top. EA Saturday, 10th of June, 8 PM. What are you expecting and why?
They'll obviously have the Fiefs and the sports stuff.
Skipping that this year.
I'm wondering if they'll try and take the single player stuff on a touch further, because they got a lot of props for the sort of story stuff. Not necessarily like the guy appearing on stage who was Alex Hunter last year, but it was interesting to see. I don't know, a sports game that's of a sport that's massive in the UK doing the single player thing. So I know the 2K games have done it for many a year, but I'm wondering if they'll just do a rerun of that with a different sort of lead character, or if they'll maybe try and take that on a touch further. It depends on their ambition, I guess. But I wouldn't have said that they'd do the single player stuff in the first place. Honestly, it seemed a little left of centre when they said they were doing.
I mean, it's something different, isn't it? You know, I think the journey mode was like, I was legitimately quite impressed with it last year. You know, thinking back on it, like, oh, actually, that's, you know, it's not just this year. We've changed our kick dynamics and we've upped the AI and more leagues. And the FIFA Ultimate Team, everyone loves unbox videos. We've installed functionality to live stream to YouTube whenever you unbox a pack. Oh God, no, they'd do that, wouldn't they? Don't listen. Don't listen, EA.
Probably already there.
Don't. Oh, because that's big business. That is. Is it me? Right? Is that? I think I've granddadded on that. When granddadding, for those of you who are listening and don't understand, is when like a fad comes out and you just, or like a thing, like a popular thing happens, and you just like don't understand the first part of it. I don't get card unpack videos. I don't get it. Why is that fun? Half an hour of someone unpacking cards.
Yeah, but you've seen the views, mate.
I know. I don't get it.
Clearly, we're granddad.
Well, granddad
on that one.
It's like fidget spinners.
I hope they do have the ambition to take it on a notch further, because it was, like I say, whilst I am a football fan, I was given this FIFA. I've not actually played it, so I've never really been into kind of moreover very good at kind of the modern day footy stuff. But yeah, I hope we see something like that.
Well, here's a question then. While we're sitting on EA, as you know, football comes out on everything, doesn't it? Do you think this year that we're going to see something similar to what's happened previously with Nintendo and the other two? Do you think we're going to get a FIFA on Switch, but it's going to be a bit different?
Well, it's already announced, isn't it?
Have they?
Yeah, it's not the same FIFA that everybody else is getting. It seems to be like, I think, running on like a 360 engine or something.
Okay.
It's just called FIFA Football. So, which sounds like when EA decided that they were doing it, it was just, well, we'll put out a token game on the Switch like they did the FIFA Football on Wii U and stuff.
Yeah. We'll do a proper one next year.
Yeah. So yeah, that is definitely coming.
Okay.
But,
Look at me.
I don't think it'll have much in the way of ambition there. But given the sales that the Switch has now got, I think it'll be 2018s we might see a little more of it.
Yeah.
But
I
think how it sells.
I think this year as well. Like, I think as always, I will fall asleep during the FIFA bit and the Madden bit and the sport bit, but that bit's not for me, and I've come to terms with that now. It will annoy me, but I will keep my goddamn mouth shut.
Do you think they are super invested in Star Wars to the degree that they couldn't bring out a new Dead Space?
See, I put this down as a maybe. I wrote this down as a possible, because I think the time is ripe for a Dead Space. I think there's a space for it. Hey, that wasn't intentional. So yeah, obviously, we're obviously going to see quite a bit of Battlefront 2 this year. Probably some more on the story with the new player character, someone.
Have you seen who's writing that though?
No.
Have you? Now this will interest you because it kind of turned my head a little bit. The new Battlefront single player campaign is being written by the same guy who wrote Spec Ops: The Line.
Cool. So I'm going to play Star Wars and feel like a terrible shit human by the end of it.
Well, you are playing a bad guy, but
true.
It's no guarantee that the game will be the same as Spec Ops. But that's a really good writer to have on a Star Wars tale, and I think a strong single player campaign on that will serve it well.
Yeah, defo. Do you think there'll be another Star Wars game? Do you think they're going to show off another, maybe like a Rogue Squadron type game, or do you think we'll get another like I'd like him to do like a single player, like not Force Unleashed, but something like that, running around with a lightsaber battering fools. I'd like that.
That is in production, isn't it?
But there's always was that the
that's the
Project
Amy Hennig
something?
one.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the Amy.
No,
Hennig
I don't
one.
read. I should read the news every now and again. I don't know what's coming.
I think they've spoken about this in previous years, but they've not done anything about it. I'm sure Criterion are doing something. Oh God, this is the interesting one as well with regards to the Star Wars one, because I think the Criterion one is the PlayStation VR thing.
Okay,
but Respawn Entertainment, who did Titanfall, are doing a Star Wars game.
Okay.
Which, yeah, because Titanfall 2 is seriously, I think you will love Titanfall 2 when it gets to the price that you go, yeah, I might give that a go, because it is a single player game that throw out the multiplayer. Just putting that to one side for a minute. It is a proper single player campaign where it's been said before that they'll. When I was listening to Final Games, like Ravi Ishmael was saying that they do stuff in Titanfall 2 where they will have a level where they introduce something and then they just don't use it again for the rest of the game, and they keep on doing that, and it's a strong single player campaign that doesn't overstay its welcome. But even after you've gone through a level, and this is the greatest feeling in the world, when you've gone through a level and you go, oh, I can't wait to play that again. When you think about restarting the game, you're like, God, that was amazing. So I'll be interested to see what they do with Star Wars. And like I say, your girl from Uncharted's been working on. Is it? I think she's working with Jade Raymond, your girl from I Am Alive.
That was. I mean, let's be fair. Amy Hennig is my girl from Soul Reaver.
Oh, is she? I didn't realise she'd done that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where my Amy Hennig comes from.
I think we've just lit up your Star Wars EA conference hype train.
Yeah, there we go. So it's gonna be really great when they just show off Battlefront for an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, but who's to say that that's not going to be great? Because there is rumours that the season pass for Battlefront is going to be free.
Okay.
Which is great. You know, as far as I'm concerned, like, do your season pass free. Just, you know, give us like different coloured outfits.
The Burnout Paradise model. The Burnout Paradise model. Just give us a year worth of stuff, and then we'll probably buy the next lot.
No, give us a year's worth of stuff, but then, you know, on the transactions page or whatever it is, just give us like different coloured guns and cool outfits and stupid stuff where you go, you know, I'm enjoying this to death, I'll buy that outfit, I'll buy the pink Han Solo outfit.
Yeah, like put all the important shit in with it, like, you know, the levels and stuff. Like that's the cool stuff. That's the stuff that divides a player base and stops people playing when they don't want to buy the DLC, but everyone's playing it. They're like, well, I'm done with this now.
Well, that's what killed the first game, wasn't it? That
yeah,
there wasn't enough to do, and people just thought they'd seen everything of it within the first 10 hours.
And let people buy a golden Darth Vader outfit if they want.
100%. If that's what it takes, because
you'd see 10 of those, wouldn't you, running around at the same time?
But it's the thing that if somebody's running around in like a golden Darth Vader outfit, 2 more people might go, "Oh my god, what's that?" Or buy that. And if somebody else is paying a $5 sort of there as well, you're essentially just advertising goofiness when people are running around, and that's great. People pay more money, and
depends how much they want to go with the tone of the setting, though, don't they? Depends they want to because I like a goofy thing as much as anyone does, but it can certainly spoil the tone.
Yeah, but multiplayer, all bets are off, really. I'd say.
True. Because you know I'm playing Tekken 7 at the moment, and like it's like, oh, this is, you know, really serious fight. You know, I'm really into this. But then you're opposite someone wearing, you know, hot pants and fairy wings. You're like, well, this is just kind of to goofball time. I heard
the greatest thing today. I was asked a question. I was like, you know that thing where something's selling really well. I was like, yeah. They were like, what is it? Is it selling like hot pants? Cakes. Hot cakes. Oh, right.
Hot cakes. So I have... so Mass Effect's obviously going to be on ice, I think, at the moment, isn't it? Like, that's going to be...
Sadly.
Unfortunate. Because, yeah, like, you seem to like it, and I know a lot of people seem to enjoy it.
I love it.
It's just... It's not exactly lit the world on fire, though, is it?
The problem is...
This time, yeah.
The problem is, I mean, we said on one of the previous shows, but it released unfinished, and there was still stuff to be done. And bizarrely enough, the word is that EA said that BioWare could have more time on it, and BioWare... They offered BioWare something like an extra 5 months, and BioWare said no. I'm
foolish.
Playing the game at the minute. I absolutely adore it. I really, really adore it. And the interesting thing with EA is that, and especially with BioWare, there's a game on the cards called Dylan, codenamed Dylan, which is basically their BioWare-made Destiny competitor.
Okay.
Which, a lot of the shooting in Mass Effect Andromeda kind of has a bit of a feel of Destiny without kind of that buttery smooth Bungie goodness. But if they super hype up, you know, like a big MMO adventure in there, again, it's good for Destiny to have that kind of competition. And I'm interested to see what they say. But apparently that's now been put back to 2018. So I don't know if they're going to give us a brief look at it, or I don't know.
I think there'll be a flash. There'll be a flash, and then they'll move on. So I also had a think, because you know you always get a surprise, don't you? Like, oh, by the way, we're doing another one of these. Like, oh, that's nice. You know,
they never did show off. They never did release that indie game that was shown last year.
Which one?
Is it 5 or something like that?
The little weird purple one.
Yeah.
The music one. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be indie game. Do you know what I want them to show? They will earn a full mark. Like, they will earn 10 out of 10 if they say they're going to do this. Can I have Skate 4, please? Can I have a new skate game? Can I have a skateboarding game again? I haven't got my racing game yet, and I haven't got my skateboarding game. I've got my fighting game now. Tekken 7's out. I've got my fighting game on the PS4 now, but I'm missing a racing game, and I'm missing Skate. So give me a proper Burnout and give me Skate, EA, and I'll give you my money.
Well, the thing that is going to be interesting with regards to that, because who was it? When I was listening to Waypoint, they were like, "Can we have a new SSX, please?" Because I think that's EA as well. But yeah, with regards to Skate, as I understand it, Skate 3's done really well on backwards compatibility for Xbox One. And whilst you're obviously getting the people that can go down to your video game shop and just pick up a second-hand copy, they're priced in very, very reasonably on the store as well. And essentially you've got games that weren't selling that now have the opportunity to sell and make money for the companies again. Apparently Red Dead Redemption's done astonishingly well for Rockstar, just simply because it's available, people can buy it again, and it's running wonderfully on a new machine and stuff. So, whether you're an Xbox fan or not, if you're a Skate fan, there's every chance that EA have measured just how much people want a new Skate by how that one's then sold backwards compatibility wise. And even if they're charging, say, a $5 on the Xbox store, if you're then pricing that where people can go, oh god, it's a bargain. People are jumping into it and they're buying it. Yeah. So that'd be kind of cool.
That's your I'll go on then price, isn't it? And then you find something you may very well love. And then
I'd quite like to see a new Burnout, but that will never happen because they've already announced Need for Speed vaping, or was it Steve Burns said Need for Speed Silent Hill? That car and all the smoke and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'd play that. That'd be great.
About like a car driving around like a pyramid on a head.
I don't know. I'd be really interested.
I think it'd be quite scary, wouldn't it?
To see if somebody did a serious horror racing game. I.e. bits where you had to get out of the car, bits where things were like chasing you. It doesn't necessarily have to be other cars.
Oh, imagine at one point, say that the road breaks away and you fall into like a lake, and then you have to get out of the car, and that's the scary bit. And there's piranhas outside as well.
Or a bit where you're going down a road and basically the exit to Silent Hill is there, and there's like a massive, like the road isn't there anymore, and you fall down into a ravine, and I don't know. Now
and you look behind you, and in the back seat, Pyramid Head's there, and he's messing with the radio
in a kid's car seat with like a like child's little kind of driving wheel.
And you have to throw the iPhone back there so it can play Angry Birds and calm down.
Yeah, there we go. We ruined that one, whereas there's a bit of potential there.
Ruined or made better?
Yeah, they're both.
Yeah. So EA, I am EA interested.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they do. But I think part of their problem last year was there's that plastic Ken doll that comes on, that Australian guy who runs the place now, who's just
I can't remember his name, but he's very boring.
Andrew something.
Andrew.
It's not Andrew House, is it?
No, because he's Sony.
Yeah, it's something like that. But he's just very slick and very false, and they could do with somebody like Alicia Tyler to just come in and have a laugh at it and just talk it through, because whatever Ubi does, Alicia Tyler's she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing.
I don't think she's there this year.
What?
We'll cover that in a bit, but I don't think Andrew Wilson,
that's the lad.
Andrew Wilson.
Right, so what's after EA? Do you say Bethesda?
What's after EA? Okay, on Sunday, June the 11th, at UK time, 10 PM. We'll do this in order. Let's keep it simple. So those listening at home can stop and listen and then watch the show and tell us if we were wrong. It's Microsoft.
What, is it Microsoft straight? Oh, is Bethesda after Microsoft then?
Bethesda's yeah, it's Microsoft first. Right. 10 PM our time, 2 PM West Coast United States, PDT.
All right,
that's a thing that people say time in.
So when it comes to tribes, obviously I'm kind of invested in this side of things.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm interested, but from a bigger picture, I'm also really curious to see what happens, because there's a lot of jeopardy with Microsoft as much as there's kind of excitement this year, and that's interesting to kind of see up close as a fan, and from afar as an enthusiast, I guess. Firstly, again, this was on Waypoint where they were like, they just need to reveal the Scorpio instantly and then smash on with games. I think that's the best bet, because you've had your super reveal with Digital Foundry, which was a fantastic move as far as I was concerned. Get all your tech specs out the way, get the super techiest, speckiest place to do it, and then...
Because nothing slows down a press conference like who wants to know about teraflops.
Yeah. Just I mean, all that stuff's out there now. Just
has it got the best pixels?
Just show the console, show what it looks like, show what its proper name is. Let's crack on with the games. That's all they need to do. Just that footnote at the start. Just have that glimpse. Make people want to kind of look at it again as they do catch up. And all the news sites will show you the machine again anyway. Yeah.
I think real world, that's going to be 15 minutes. I think real world, we're talking 10 minimum, 15 maximum. I think we're going to be there for a bit of time because they want to show off their new machine. They want you to remember it.
Yeah, but...
And I think during their show, they'll say, oh, all of these, captured on a Scorpio, get it on a Scorpio.
Yeah, I think
better on Scorpio, like all the way through. I think they're going to tell because they're not going to call it Scorpio, are they?
Which is, I think that's a little bit shit, because I quite like Scorpio Project. Like, the Xbox Scorpio is memorable. And
do you think, okay, no, this is going to be like...
Because let's face it,
out there.
PlayStation Pro is shite.
Yeah.
Like, as
boring.
a name, it's as dull as Vita was a dull name.
They could have called it the PlayStation 4K, and that would have been like, I get it, because it does 4K.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll call this the Xbox 2?
No, because somebody was saying like, oh, they just call it the Xbox One Elite. It's like, there's already been one of those.
Oh Christ!
So
the Xbox One X, maybe?
I don't know.
Is that too many X's?
I don't know where they're going to go with. Although you could say that would tie in with the line if you've got the Xbox One S. So already, so that would be wise. I hope the machine, they bundle it in with the Elite joypads, because I'm a huge fan of those, and more people need to play games on them because it's the greatest gamepad ever made as far as I'm concerned. The people who do know the price don't seem to have gone... They seem... Because I think that's where Microsoft need to make a splash. I think we'll see... If say they go, and I think they will, they'll go Scorpio, 399 quid. That's the point where Sony, in their press conference, they go, we're cutting the price of the PlayStation Pro to 300.
350. Yeah, 300, 350.
Because at that point they're just trying to steal that market share away, and I think that's really wise to do it. And again, competition, great. But I think it'll be... I know you said sort of 15 minutes. I think it might be just 5 to 10. Just seriously, lights go swooshy, swooshy, swoosh. Hi, I'm Phil Spencer. Welcome to the Xbox conference. This year, as you know, we're launching brand new console, the Scorpio. You've seen all about it. This is the machine. This is.
And he pulls it out of his pocket, and it's in his jacket pocket, and he pulls it out, and everyone claps.
Well, that's all they need to do is just go like, this is what it looks like. This is the price. Let's get on with the games. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do, because anybody that goes, can I have a look at that? There'll be a million news sites that are giving you sort of write-ups on what's in the box and all that sort of stuff. You don't need that. Just fucking smash on with games at that point.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. But I do think it's going to go on for a little while. I think they're going to take a bit more time on it. I think they are going to take more time going, this is what it does, this is what it can do, this is why it's better, this is how much it's better. They're going to not going to go over the specs, but they're going to smash out some sound bites.
Well,
none of
4K, that means anything to the majority of people. The way that you're showing people what it can do is with the games, with the whizzes, the bangs, the sparkles. That's all that matters. You're actually showing what your console can do by showing the games. So I think they throw themselves into that, because this is one part where I think Microsoft did the best thing in the world by showing the tech specs and the machine to Digital Foundry so they could run through it and stuff. Was just simply because, do you remember that PowerPoint presentation Sony did for the Pro? It was great. It was just horrible with Andrew House. Like, this is what it can do, and we found that with checkerboard.
Here's a question for you then. Regarding the games.
Yes.
Okay. Obviously there's going to be a few we're going to see again. Yes. I think we're going to see some Crackdown. I think we're going to see some the pirate one, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves. Do you think? I think this is going to be a year when Microsoft don't bother so much with the third-party people. There'll be one or two there, but I think they'll during an off year, like Ubisoft will get 10 minutes out of the Sony show, Activision will get 10 minutes out of the Sony show. Like the year they showed off Call of Duty for about 15 minutes. I think they're going to be all about just like exclusive on Xbox. I think they're going all out on it this year. But it feels like that's what they've done the last couple of years. Like that exclusive to Xbox thing has come up at the start of probably almost every other video they've done.
But the way that they can go at this point, and this alludes to what you were saying with regards to how you thought that they were going to present the Scorpio at the start, is like the best version of these games is going to be on Xbox Scorpio. So I think that they'll be closely involved with the marketing of Assassin's Creed Origins. I think that will be kind of under their wing, because I think that's launching around about the same time. Obviously, they've got marketing with Shadow of War.
Have they?
Because that's already announced on Scorpio, and I think that's the reason Shadow of War has been pushed back. Because that would suggest that the Scorpio will launch in October. Shadow of War is going to be, it's already been announced for it, and they're doing that kind of push on it. It was this rumours that they've got an IP of their own that nobody's seen anything of yet, which I'll be interested to see, because Phil Spencer said there's a lot of stuff that when he first took over Xbox that he put into production with regards to new games that we've not seen before. But the problem that Microsoft have got with their own IPs is that nobody's interested in them. And this is even aside from kind of the cycle of Halo, Gears, Fable as it used to be. I think we'll definitely see like a new Forza here, but they need a new IP that turns people's heads, and I'm curious to see if they can do that, because one of the things that Sony is doing incredibly well is not only with their own first-party IPs, but the stuff that is aligned to the machine as well. Your Niers and your Yakuzas and your Personas and stuff. And the interesting thing is that you'll see Record launched incomplete apparently, and sort of in a bit of
Record.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, the one with the balls. I remember that.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten all about that.
Apparently, there was a droid that was supposed to be in it that they cut from the game that was allegedly going to be like free DLC. Somebody announced in like March this year, which was a bit rubbish. Quantum Break didn't do wonderfully.
It kind of fell flat, didn't it, a bit? Yeah.
I mean, it had like mixed reviews and stuff as well, but they've certainly not got anything that people are waving a flag. Especially, I mean, the first turning point I think for the PlayStation 4 was like Bloodborne. That was the first like real exclusive where people went, "Damn, son." Because it was something that you couldn't get anywhere else, and it tapped into a market that was hungry for that. It also tapped into a market where people that wouldn't look at a Souls game before were suddenly looking at this and going, "Oh, that looks really good." And there was there was nothing coming out that at the same time that they wanted. I mean, so Microsoft need that. Sea of Thieves. I loved the bit on the show last year. I just thought all those people having a bit of laugh was great.
It didn't feel scripted. It felt like just people playing a video game, which is something that Ubisoft's always struggled with. Is their kind of gameplay bits always feel a little bit like, I'm going to capture the point now.
Well, I think the problem with Ubisoft stuff a lot of the time in that regard is the kind of false bants that they have with the actors. They're like, hey,
hashtag fake bants.
Yeah, hey, if you move into this position, I've got my gun, I'm ready, I'm coming into, and that was the Sea of Thieves thing last year was just a bunch of people bollocking about.
Just running and going, oh, piss bollocks. I'm drunk. Oh, the ship's sinking. Oh, no.
And I've seen some more of that recently with like two different sides, sort of one of them sort of going to bury some treasure on like a mountain or something, and another one coming into port from a distance, like it really sort of smoky sea at night, and people think that they can see a ship in the distance, and they don't know if they should get down to their own ship and try and go out to sort of fight them in the ship, or if they should hide and these people are gonna sort of come onto land, and they should maybe try and get round them and sort of kill them on land, and if they knew they were there, and that looks great. And apparently it's been in like beta, like increased betas and alphas and stuff for quite some time with people that are on the rare forums and stuff, so it's constantly being tested. I just really love it to be good because it looks like something nobody's doing, and it looks tremendous fun. And I don't know, it seems to have captured a lot of people's imagination in a way that I didn't think it would. I don't know how that's going to translate into sales, but it does look a lot of fun.
I'm similarly interested. It looks like a good laugh. It looks like something that's not there. I hope, which is always the case. I think when you get a multiplayer focused game, that the gameplay is fun enough to keep a player base, because there's nothing worse than having your big multiplayer game come out and have it be dead a month in.
That's but I think Microsoft's sort of focus at the moment is that buzzword of service based games. And there are rumours that affected Scalebound, that Microsoft wanted something that Platinum weren't delivering, and I'm wondering if they wanted a stronger focus on multiplayer and stuff, and Platinum were just kind of giving this the single player game. Although rumours are that Scalebound might not be done, and that could turn up.
Okay, because that multiplayer that we saw last year for Scalebound didn't do a lot for me.
Me neither. It
did feel a bit like, hey, there's just 4 of us here now.
But
we're all the same guy.
But
it felt a little bit tacked on. It didn't feel like it belonged. Like it felt like it was a single player game that was like being told, now you've got to be multiplayer for a bit.
That Scalebound presentation last year was just really bizarre. It was really bland. A lot of folks were kind of like, oh, I'm going to get an Xbox One for this, or in the case of our friend Kylie, he bought an Xbox One for it a few years ago. I mean, State of Decay 2 is coming as well.
Oh, yeah.
I love the original, and I think this one's 4-player co-op as well, so I'm completely up for that, because the first one was a belter, and obviously it's been in the oven for quite some time, so it'll be interesting to see, rather than it being like this kind of little indie train that ended up sort of catching fire and making money. I'd imagine Microsoft have thrown a bit of dollar at this.
Bit of clout, bit of marketing budget. Get it in people's eyes.
Crackdown 3, I think, is going to really benefit from the Scorpio in particular, but I'm curious to see how they use the power of the cloud to have that completely destructible city in multiplayer, and as to whether that in itself will transition to the Scorpio version of it. Because there's a few more bells and whistles that can go on in there. The interesting thing I heard was that Microsoft have tied up kind of marketing and exclusivity to a third party game that's not been announced yet.
Not been.
Yeah.
Like a new Tomb Raider or something?
No, there's a game that I heard aligned to this, and I thought this would completely and utterly make sense. and that game was Borderlands 3. And I think
I could see that,
because if PS4's got Destas, I think that Borderlands 3, it sounds right, and I think that maybe Gearbox could do with a little helping hand after what happened with that other multiplayer game that got destroyed by that game with starting with O that we don't talk about, that we've blocked all mentions of on Twitter.
We have.
But I think it'd be good for Microsoft and for Gearbox for that to happen. Although it'll be interesting to see what happens with the other side of the fence, because there was such a big reaction against Microsoft getting Tomb Raider from Sony fans, like really quite vicious. And whereas kind of Microsoft fans are obviously getting less Destiny than PlayStation is, I'm wondering if kind of Borderlands 3 turning up on Xbox One, I don't think it'll be exclusive. I think it'll have more stuff for it.
Yeah.
In the same way as
more guns.
The same way as Destiny has on PS4. But I'm wondering how kind of the PlayStation side of things will react there.
I don't know, like, do people still care that much about Borderlands anymore? Because like the pre-sequel one kind of just, I don't feel like it made as much of a dent as so Borderlands 2 was big money when it came out. You know, they were going really behind that when it came out, and the pre-sequel, the third one, just sort of seemed to appear and it was out.
Yeah.
And then it was in sales quite soon. Like, it just didn't appear to make as much of a dent as the previous two.
There was a presentation at the Game Developers Conference that Randy Pitchford did with regards to the new version of the Borderlands tech engine, which was really impressive. And I think if it does a good enough showing there, I think that people will go, oh, because I don't know if it's all singing or dancing on Scorpio, and they're showing it with that kind of alignment. Plus, I mean, you've got to say as well that if say Borderlands 3 is October at the same time, that would mean the machine is launching with Borderlands 3, Shadow of War, Assassin's Creed Origins. That's still a good lineup for a machine to launch with, because all you want really is something to play. And if there's a number of games that are a little bit different, and they look sparkly and beautiful as fuck on the new machine, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's important to have at least a few things to come out that are going to be worth getting the machine for.
Now, From Software traditionally show something at the Microsoft show.
Not this year.
I disagree with you.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think. I think because of not the way Dark Souls 3 was received, but I don't think it's time for something new from them yet. I think whatever they're working on that's new, I think they're probably going to take a bit more time over it. I can see them showing a Bloodborne 2 before showing off a new Armored Core / whatever else they're going to make after Dark Souls. I see Bloodborne 2 before that. That's how I see it.
I think Armored Core will show at the Microsoft showing, and I think Bloodborne 2, if it is a thing, which it's believed that it is a thing, will show at the Sony event, which is cool because we still had Dark Souls 3 and sort of Bloodborne show up relatively close together.
Yeah, they did. I just don't know if I want it or not.
I'd be interested to see what they do with Armored Core, because it's always been desperately impenetrable. The people that have invested stupendous amounts of time into it have raved about it, but we've still not seen a game under Miyazaki's sort of stewardship from even Dark Souls 3 was put into production by the old guard at the top of the company. So curious, really curious.
I don't know. I will take you on that bet. I don't think they're going to show up.
I tell you what would be
at
really
Microsoft
cool.
show.
If you see like a massive like open world horror and stuff, people are going like, oh my god, Microsoft, what's going on? And then it comes up with From, and then at the end it just goes King's Field. That'd be great. That'd be really, really cool. Nobody'd expect it, and I don't know.
The main character is then driving a car and Pyramid Head's in there. Shit.
But you know what I mean? It'd be something a little bit different for From to break away from sort of the bracket they put themselves in the last number of years. So that'd be kind of cool.
Give us something new.
Yeah, but I'd be up for a new Kingsfield in that regard.
Yeah. So I like my guess game that I think they're going to show. There's been no thing. Like, this may already be precluded. Is Fable dead? Is that studio dead, or is that just been, or is it just cancelled and
studios? Yeah, dissolved. Lionhead are no more. I think they still own the IP.
That's what I'm. Yeah, like
they
if
had
the IP's still alive.
That really awful looking multiplayer game that went into beta and then got cancelled.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they'll show off a Halo this year, or if they do, it'll just be like some sort of, trailer like when he was wandering along in that cloak a few years back.
Or maybe like a re-up version. I know they've already done the Master Chief Collection already, but like maybe like an optimized version, or like the collection for like get all the Halo games for this one price on the Scorpio, and it's all going to be 4K and all the maps are going to be in. Like maybe they'll just expand that, but they've already done that recently, so probably they wouldn't do that.
There's rumours that there is something Halo based for the presentation, but it's not Halo. So I'm wondering if maybe they've got somebody to do like a new ODST or something like that, like a little.
Maybe there's a new like show coming out for it or something. Because they're always doing odd like shows and animes and things, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean there was a TV show mentioned a number of years ago, like a Spielberg one, I think it was. And I presume that was dead, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Forward Unto Dawn 2.
I'm wondering if we might see No Man's Sky on Xbox this year, maybe.
Maybe
because I think that's PlayStation have finished beta testing it for everybody else. Although you've then got the thing where it's like, oh, No Man's Sky £40 on Xbox, or you can buy it at $11.99 second hand. So yeah, that'd be interesting.
Okay, no. Here's my prediction. Here's what I think. I think we're going to get a MOBA. I think a MOBA's going to get announced for it. League of Legends or Dota or one of those things. I think we're overdue one of those, a big one turning up. Like there's millions of like odd little ones on the PSN. Like I know like Smite and the other ones. They're all the same, aren't they? Really. Well, look at us angering all the MOBA fans. They're all the same.
Well,
I think a big name one of the big ones is going to turn up.
Spencer's been over in Japan apparently talking to a lot of Japanese developers, so I'm wondering if there might be something with a little kind of Far Eastern gravitas that's shown here.
Dead or Alive 6.
I'm wondering I mean my big guess with regards to the conference is if Microsoft announce original Xbox backwards compatibility. So then they've said that they like a through line going from 360 to Xbox One to Scorpio and stuff, and that way kind of going forward. I'm wondering if they might do that. Obviously they've kind of remastered or polished up like Phantom Dust and gave it away free, and the people behind that are wondering what folks want them to remaster next. But I don't know. I think backwards compatibility could be quite good with that. And again, you put in games on a store which aren't selling anymore and have a chance to not only make money for the people that made them, but gauge interest in a sequel. I saw one of the comments underneath the developer asking, what should we remaster next, and somebody put Metal Wolf Chaos, which never came out over here.
It didn't.
Now, you remember the From one where you're the president of the United
I've seen
States
it. Don't worry. Don't worry. I've seen it.
Belton.
Richard.
Belton. But yeah.
Microsoft then. So moving on to...
Should we break there for a moment?
Should we break?
Yes, let's do it. Knowing the technical difficulties that we've had, let's
That's true.
Let's break for a moment.
Let's play the music.
So next, which is up next on the next...
The next one up next is a Bethesda, which is Sunday, June the 11th at UK time 3 a.m. and West Coast United States PDT 7 p.m. You got much for this? Because I don't got much for this.
I think there'll be a new Wolfenstein.
I agree.
There'll be a new... there'll be Evil Within 2.
Sure.
I'm wondering if they might make a statement about the rethink on delaying review copies. Because whilst the likes of Dishonored 2 and Prey have done well critically, like what baffles me is that they're down to like under a tenner within 6 months.
Yeah.
And there are less and less reasons to buy a game on day one now anyway. It just seems to be biting them on the arse.
Yeah, I don't understand what they are gaining by, especially when it's like single player games as well. Like, what are you possibly gaining by not letting anyone have it until the day it comes out? Like, sure, if it's a multiplayer focused game, then you don't want people playing it until it's done because they'll review it based on empty servers. You know, you want to have your game reviewed at the state it's going to be. But fucking single player game, like what are they scared of? They're doing themselves more damage, I think, by not putting that out, because people are like, well, I'll wait then and I'll watch, maybe I'll have to watch, you know, someone live stream it or something, and then by that point you've seen half the game. You're like, well, no point buying it now. I've seen it.
Well, you know, Doom was another one of those where they didn't let the review copy out until like the day of release, I think it was, or close to it. Can you imagine if they'd sort of given that code earlier and like say 2 weeks before it was due out, all of the sites were coming out and going, Doom is amazing. Like you'd have people hyped to balls for the next fortnight before it came out. And I just think this degree of kind of uncertainty and almost like a sort of snide nature towards the media it's not doing them any good.
No, like you say, Doom particularly, I think, is the one that would have benefited from that the most, because, like, did you ever read Gav Russell, friend of the show, Gav Russell's review of Doom?
Yes.
Yeah, it was fucking yes, mate. That was it. And that's all you need. Like, build your hype. Like, just putting out trailers every now and again and going, oh, it's going to be really good. No, get the reviews out there ahead of time. They're not going to address it here. There's no chance.
But you also say if your game's given like 2 weeks ahead, or you know the reviews come out like 2 weeks ahead, you're going to get 2 weeks worth of think pieces and why Dishonored 2 does this better than anything else, why it does stealth better, why the story is really engaging, and kind of you're getting
get people interested. Yeah, how Doom reinvents the shooter.
Yeah, you're not only sort of getting people more and more excited for the game, but you're also drawing traffic towards the media sites as well, who want to write pieces as to how good your game is.
Yeah.
And I just think it shows incredible confidence when a review is out way in advance of a release date, or you know the reviews are allowed and like the code's been given way in advance, even if you know games always launch with day one patches and stuff. But I'm pretty sure the Horizon reviews, like the Neo reviews, Bloodborne reviews, Persona reviews, the Nier reviews, were all kind of like way in advance of those titles releasing.
Do you think there could be something to be said for maybe someone at the top, or you know, someone in the marketing department, because we live in a world of Twitch now and we live in a world of YouTube? Like, do you think there was, or I think anyway, maybe some trepidation about having their whole, you know, all of their single player game, you know, half of it on the internet within the day it comes out? Like, it's all out there, here's the plot. Like, if I was showing off a game, a piece of art, I wouldn't want, but like, Because you can give a game to a website, to a review site, to your big game site and say, right, here's your embargo, thank you. You give it to a YouTuber or a Twitch person, they don't give two shits.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the time, if somebody's not interested in the game, but are interested in seeing it getting played, they'll watch the Twitch stream. If somebody's really excited for that game, they won't go anywhere near it. I mean, I enjoy... I mean, obviously, there's like differentials there, and sometimes you can go, I'm really not sure about this. I'd quite like to have a look and get a feel for it with the way that somebody else is playing it. I mean, I can give an example of like Holly Bennett's Twitch streams. Like when she's streaming Mass Effect Andromeda or Persona or Horizon Zero Dawn, they're all games I'm either playing or interested in, but I don't want spoiled. But if there's been points where she's played that game Birthdays by the guy that did Harvest Moon, which is incredible, absolutely incredible.
Ooh, see, now I've actually had my hands on that. There's a demo of that. I thought that was absolute horse piss.
No, it's not.
I got so angry at it.
It's really, really not. And having seen the stream go from that anger and uncertainty, and they did have one of the developers or marketing folks actually in the chat as well, like to advise a little bit, seeing it go from that anger and uncertainty to instinct and pure addiction and time disappearing was amazing. Although that stream in itself ended on a strange note when Holly's PlayStation just like crashed and started trying to refresh licenses, and we discovered that the game doesn't autosave.
Oh dear.
It was
Oh dear.
It was such a horrible end to like an amazing stream, but it's one of the best streams I've ever seen. But that I was like, oh, I'm curious to see what this is like, and it was nothing like what I thought it was. You get in games like I got into Oceanhorn from watching Holly stream it. I watched her play Rhyme the other day, which looked beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and thought, yeah, I think this might actually be for me. But I think you've got that kind of differential. I mean, I wouldn't have watched any Dark Souls 3 being played ahead of time, but as much as we've argued about Bamco's marketing, I'm sure there were like certain points where there was like 80, 100,000 people watching people playing ahead of time. So, don't know. It's at the end of the day, it's marketing for your game for people that might not have picked it up. I don't know. It's a strange one, but I just don't think it does them any good.
The message it sends is we're not confident in our product. We're worried it'll get bad reviews and people will cancel their pre-orders. This way people will keep their pre-orders, but now people when the reviews aren't out there, I'm not going to throw 40 quid down on a game I'm not that familiar with, and I want to read a review. I want to see if it's good or not, because my money's precious.
Do you think they counter this in the way like that they've? Prey had a demo before release. I don't, because the Doom demo came quite a while after release.
That was so stupid.
Yeah,
so stupid. Get the demo out there straight away. Get it in people's hands. Give them a reason to buy it. Because me and you both played that demo and were like, "Fuck, got to buy this now."
Yeah. It really took us back. It took us back, didn't it?
That was it. So, the thing is, though, as far as Bethesda goes, like they've got their big two, haven't they? They've got Fallout and they've got Skyrim. They will always make money. They will always do gangbusters. They will always be bestsellers. They will always be amazing. It sounds a bit like not reductive to say they don't need the other stuff to come out to do as well. But I mean, their big two are very big.
Because Dishonored 2 didn't do very well at all.
No.
And as I understand it from everybody that's played it, it's as special as anything. It really takes the first one and runs with it in such an amazing sort of way. But that's now £9 new. what, 6 months or so after it launched, which is mental.
Bollocks.
And yet, and you know, this comes back around to a little bit of what I was saying with regards to like the Sony first party stuff. In the Horizon, I passed CEX the other day. Horizon Zero Dawn second hand is £42. Neo hasn't dropped in price at all. Persona hasn't dropped in price at all. The only reason that Yakuza has dropped in price is because Yakuza Kiwami's coming out soon. And that's probably to generate a bit more interest. Yeah, it's barely dropped in price. That's still sort of around about the £30 mark. And I think for any game that's plummeted, any quality game that's plummeting in this kind of way, I mean, you can expect it with something like a Homefront Revolution or something. But a game as good as, you know, something like Dishonored 2, it just seems bizarre. And, you know, Prey's like only been out a few weeks. It's £27 already.
It's doing a Deus Ex, isn't it? The price on those always fall within 5 minutes, don't they? They just fall off.
Deus Ex has been, that's like £6.50 new now.
Yeah. It's like,
although Square have kind of turned their back on it, seemingly. In favour of Marvel stuff, haven't they?
They want that sweet Final Fantasy money.
Would.
So do you have any predictions? Any surprises you think they're going to show off? Anything new you think they've got in the tank? I would like to see Wet 2. I'm not going to get that. I liked Wet. I thought Wet was really good, and I've still got the soundtrack at home, and it's amazing.
Do you think they'll give us new Elder Scrolls this year?
Nah. I think maybe they'll tease a new Elder Scrolls.
Do you think that they will show the Switch version of Skyrim on the Bethesda show or in the Nintendo show?
Fuck.
Because essentially Skyrim on Switch is like not as good Breath of the Wild now, isn't it?
I'm going to hedge my bets here, and I'm going to say both.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it'll appear on both. They're going to do an Assassin's Creed this year. I think they're going to show it at every chance they can, so it'll be at their show and it'll be on the Switch show, definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes, you sound interested. Well, speaking of being interested, the next show, Monday, June the 12th at 6 p.m. UK time and 10 a.m. West Coast United States, the PC Gaming Show. I've written one note for this show. I think we're going to see graphics cards.
I've just got no way of being vaguely interested or invested in this whatsoever.
It really, like, my interest in this show is a mirror of my interest in PC gaming. You know, I've got a billion games on Steam. I sit down, I'll install them, I'll play about 2 hours, and then I'll stop playing them again. And that's me. You know, that's not a problem with PC games. Don't eat me, internet. Like, I don't find it as comfortable. I don't find it as enjoyable. I don't find it as relaxing to sit at the computer table and play games like that. I just don't relax when I'm doing that. I'm sort of sitting up straight, and even though I've got a very, very nice computer chair that I can adjust to all sorts of relaxing situations, it just doesn't feel. I'm not properly gaming, you know.
Well, you actually tried to watch this thing a few years ago.
I didn't try. I did. I watched 3 bloody hours, and then we skipped over it in 5 minutes. I was very upset.
Yeah, I don't know.
I watched the whole thing. I learned so much about graphics cards, and I forgot immediately. I think the PC Gaming Show, I think they'll show off a few interesting things, maybe, like your... what's the new multiplayer one that everyone seems to like at the minute? Battlegrounds. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I think they'll show some of that. I think there'll be a lot of VR stuff on their show. I think there'll be a lot of kind of early access, loads of people running around kind of games. I don't know.
It's not for me.
It's not for me either.
Let's just move on.
Yeah. Sorry, PC games. We like you, but we don't. Let's go to Crazy Town then. Couple of hours later. Oh god, that's gonna be a rough day. Couple of hours later, 9 p.m. UK time on Monday, the June the 12th, 1 p.m. West Coast United States. It's Crazy Ubi.
You saying Alicia Taylor's not doing this year?
No, I was looking at a little summary when I was trying to get some ideas of what might be coming on, and it sort of says, don't expect Aisha Tyler this year.
Why?
I don't know. I might be wrong on that. That could just be a lie, but I mean, who would fill those shoes? I mean, she's become so synonymous with Ubi now. She comes along because she wants to do it, and she clearly has a lot of fun doing it, and is very, very good at it. I would say she's the best host that comes back every year by miles.
I put this to you, right? And this is, I'm sure, like a glance, a sort of a glance at last year, but people on stage bollocking about all over the place to Just Dance, right? Having a good old shake and like a giant mango and a giraffe. They're all like body popping and all this, and we're going like, oh, here we go, Just Dance, and all this music's going on. It's good dancers, but look at the mango. And then
you mango.
And then Alicia Tyler comes out, pissing herself laughing, looking at it all in the same way as we do, but also, this is really great and I'm really excited. She comes out, makes a joke about the mango, claps her hands, starts the show, and you're just like, yeah, that's really cool.
She's like a conductor, like a ring conductor in that respect. She comes out, points at all the clowns and go, they're good, aren't they? Right.
She's excited and she's not plastic bullshit, and that's what I've always loved about her.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, she brings an actual personality. And not just like, I'm wearing a t-shirt that has a reference to an old video game on it. Please like me. She's not a suit, you know?
Yeah, I really hope she's there.
Yeah. Plus, if she's not there, yeah, how are they going to hold the hall up? Because she's so tall. She usually holds up the actual auditorium. She's very tall. Did you see her when Little Eves came out last year? Little Eves Gimo came out, and he looked like the Hobbit.
She should just put him on her shoulder and just go, I am Groot.
I brought Puppet Eves with me. Hey there!
Oh God, you're right. It says it seems that Asher Tyler won't be returning this year. What?
Do you know what that means?
What?
Mr. Caffeine's back, right?
No. Who think?
Diddly-do, diddly-do, diddly. I liked Mr. Caffeine for a similar reason. Like, he was crap. Don't get me wrong. He was crap, but it was different.
Why? Why won't she be there?
I don't know, man. I've seen one sentence that said she's not going to be there. I don't know anything about it. She should be.
One of these headlines, it says, Asher Tyler to be replaced by a wall of beards at this year's Ubisoft E3 conference. Although it says here underneath it, Ubisoft drops Asher Tyler for its E3 press conference, detailing new titles itself.
Oh.
That's just, I don't.
But she's brilliant. She's part of it.
I don't understand.
That's like someone having a new handheld in their pocket. Like, it's part of the show.
I don't.
Yeah. Mr. Caffeine's back, isn't he?
I'm just. Who's going to come out on stage then? Is it just going to be
Rayman?
The developers
coming
out and talking about it.
Rayman.
But she. Oh God,
Okay.
And according to our old friends at Polygon, there's no word yet as to whether actress and comedian Asher Tyler will return this year.
Tricky one, isn't it?
So.
Wow, look at this. This shows how important she is. We've just spent 10 minutes talking about whether Aisha Tyler's going to be there or not.
But she is brilliant, and we've always said about how plastic EA's conferences that they need somebody like Aisha Tyler. And please don't. It's a huge mistake if that's the case. Jesus Christ, she's the glue that sews all of that together, and you can have like whatever developer talking, however stoically about their games and stuff, but she's always the giggle, she's always the smile, she's always the excitement. If anything ever derails, she's always the one to like pull it back together, and we end up laughing with her.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what I've always loved about Asher Tyler.
Yeah, and I think she grounds it as well, because Ubisoft 100%. Is always the wacky show, isn't it? Like there's always something in the Ubisoft though that makes you wake up and go, what they're doing now? And she kind of humanizes it. She kind of keeps it all together. She relates it. She keeps it relatable. Maybe I suppose. Like yeah, you're not just watching. Hey, look, here's some bombast. She's watching it going, did you fucking see that? That was cool. Look at that.
And then she'll go, I played some of that backstage. It was really good. And you were like, okay, I believe you.
Yeah. I agree, Aisha Tyler. So, what do you think Ubi are going to show this year? I think, obviously, Assassin's Creed is back this year.
What do you think of the name change?
Origins. Ugh. Unless it literally is a story about the very first Assassins and Templars.
Which
fucked. Even then, Origins. Everything's called Origins. It's like from the big subtitle box that every developer goes in. It's like, Origins rebooted. Revelations. They've done that.
Retribution.
Yep, that's a good one. It's just, who cares, man?
I think that Assassin's Creed Empire is a really good title.
Yeah.
But one thing that I will say in the defense of Origins, if it is the very, very start of it, if somebody is going to a shop and they see that title, they know exactly what they're getting. That it just speaks to them immediately. That was something that I heard on a podcast recently, and I went, yeah, I can see that. But I liked Empire. I thought Empire was really good.
It's a better name than Origins, definitely.
So it's apparently set in Egypt,
which is what people have been crying out for like 20 years.
I'm sure somebody said that it's not just Egypt as well. It's like there's Greece in there, and the country, not the musical.
I'd play that,
wouldn't it? I know. I got buildings I'm climbing, and I'm losing control. So they're taking a year off. There's a big Witcher influence apparently on this one. Big open world. I like Egyptian stuff, so I'm actually quite excited to see this. And I think they'll tie it in with the Scorpio pretty heavily.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be cool seeing that they're probably going to do the short trailer bit of gameplay coming next year, pre-order now thing. Do
you think they'll have some sort of lispy, wispy indie version of an 80s pop song over the top?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. What would it be?
My loneliness, dun 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 dun, is killing me.
And then every it's someone getting stabbed.
I still believe. Boom boom. And then they hit me, baby, one more time. Then you see the knife goes through somebody's neck. It all splashes to end like Assassin's Creed Origins.
But it's boom, and the assassin stood on the nose of the Sphinx that's still there at this point. Yeah. And we see how the nose came off.
Boom. That's where it pans out.
And does the eagle thing spinning around.
Boom. But I'm really excited for this. Actually,
I'm the other way. When we've discussed this in the past, I've officially tagged out of Assassin's Creed at this point.
But what could turn you around? What could turn you around?
I don't know.
Because you're a big Witcher fan.
I am.
You're a big Witcher fan. What could turn you around?
Right. Here's the problem. Right.
I won't wait. Tell me.
Big Witcher fan. Right. Do you know what else I'm a big fan of? Right. Big fan of Dark Souls. Right. Okay. Games that are a bit like it and have been inspired by it, I found haven't been as good as it. Games that are going to be inspired by Witcher, I don't know. I think Witcher's that good. I don't know if it can be quote unquote copied in that sense. I don't know if the formula of Assassin's Creed, like my favourite Assassin's Creed, is probably 4 Black Flag. Because it was so different, like it was a breath of fresh air. I've run around a city and stabbed dudes and walked after them so many times. Like I don't need to do that again. I've done that. I don't get any enjoyment out of doing that over and over. Like I'm done. I'm absolutely done with running around a city and following a man. But Black Flag was like, here's a fucking boat, go nuts, give me something mental.
That's because it's the same director as Black Flag, isn't it?
Yeah, but what they're going to give me, they're not going to give me a boat in Egypt. There's going to be like a paddle thing that the pharaoh sits on, and I just paddle it.
The naval stuff is back
in Egypt.
I've heard that not just Egypt, but like Greece and like other places are sort of involved as well. So
give me a Viking Assassin's Creed game. I'll play that one. Give me a goddamn longboat.
They always send out those sort of forms going like, where would you like an Assassin's Creed? And then it's like Japan, and they're like, oh, never mind.
No. Where would you like an Assassin's Creed? Japan. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't read this. What did you say?
Did you say India? And a side scroller. Well, it's funny you should mention that.
Did you say HD Ezio collection? Oh. Done it again. I want them to have something wildly different. Like, that's why Black Flag was my favourite, and that's why I think that... I mean, Black Flag was my last one. Yeah, that was the last one I really played, because after that point, I'm tired of the series now. Because you've jumped more back in sort of in the current day, haven't you? You've jumped more in the last couple of years, whereas I've been with it since day one.
Yeah, I kind of...
And I've played it out now.
I did one and then sort of tickled into a few of the others and just they didn't grab me. And then Unity, I adored. And I still haven't played Syndicate.
Yeah.
I've just had other stuff that I've been
Although
playing. But...
Unity, in classic CJ form, is the one that everyone hated that you really liked.
Yeah, and ironically, Unity is apparently now the best game to show off the power of the PlayStation Pro. Apparently, it runs incredibly on it. Yeah, it's one of the best running games on PlayStation Pro. Apparently,
That's bizarre.
Yeah, there was ambition in there though, and that's what I loved. But I think it's difficult to talk about Assassin's Creed without looking at the template that they used for the most part for so many games, and the fact that they've taken a year off. I'm curious to see what they're doing differently, and how.
Yeah, how have they used that year?
Yeah, and the fact that I don't want to bring up a map and see like a million things on it. I like to see something that's kind of quite emergent. I'm there's a big question mark over this as to how they've changed the game. So yeah, I'm curious. I'm really excited for it, but I am curious.
I'm intrigued, but I'm intrigued, but not excited yet. They have to excite me. That's that open. Far Cry 5, I reckon we're going to see a bit of trailer for. That's going to be an interesting one. Twitter reacts.
I've purposely not watched the trailer for this because I want to see stuff at E3.
Wait, is there one already out?
Yeah.
See, I haven't watched that. I don't watch anything anymore.
No, I kind of avoided going near it. I'm curious that it's set in Montana, that kind of Middle America is the enemy. That seems a little bit different to me as well. Sounds quite cool on the face of it.
It's interesting sounding. I think if they can avoid giving it... going to sound really reductive again, isn't it? Ubisoft game design. Here's 10 missions, do them 100 times each over this map. Like, if they can keep it interesting and like if the rating's good...
Yeah, I mean, again, this is a curiosity for me now, because I wouldn't say I'm like all there or all in, but I'm curious to see what they do with it. And I like that Middle America is the enemy, although the way that Middle America has reacted to it is equally as hilarious, and has probably added a little more luster to actually see what's going down. But it just seems a bit left to centre, and that's kind of cool. And it
seems quite politically risky in the current climate. Would you say? Like,
yeah, well, we've been through like a million leafy vales on sort of far off islands.
I'm with you. I agree.
Some sort of creepy forest and horrible Twin Peaks-esque town in the middle of nowhere with hicks and guns and murder and rape and all of that kind. Just give me something that's a horror in the middle of nowhere that's ignored by police. That's ignored.
Sort of like a Silent Hill game with a car.
Yeah, you're almost like a real life Silent Hill, but it's not all.
But you can never check off all the objectives. Oh no!
But do you know what I mean?
You got the tower, and it doesn't.
It's not
it doesn't
washed
in
in sort of a broken road or loads of smoke and stuff and fog. It's the true chill is that it is the real world, and this sort of shit is out there.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'm interested for it. Again, I'm waiting to sort of see the bombast. I'm waiting to see like a proper full thing. What do you think they're going to show this year that's going to be some wanky open world third-person game with guns? Because they've always got at least 3.
Well, shareholder call for Ubisoft stated that they wanted to make less games and have more purchasable stuff available for those games because they make more money. And they want to focus more on the quality of those games, try and make them as best as possible so that people stick around and they can kind of sell people more stuff. So I'd imagine that will be the case with most of them. I don't think that they'll really have that much to show. I think that if we've got a surprise, I mean, Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
it's about kind of time for that to come back around.
I had that down as maybe. I think we're due a Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
I don't think we're ever going to see Beyond Good and Evil 2 ever again, which just makes me very sad. But at this point, I'm kind of okay with it because Beyond Good and Evil was really good. I think at this point, with this many, like, oh, it might be coming out. It might come out. Just now, let it die now.
Well, there are rumours that there was a Prince of Persia running in that Child of Light engine a few years back, but we never saw anything of it. So,
interesting.
Or would you rather have kind of a more realistic sort of type thing, or something like cell shaded? Or
I want Sands of Time again, man. That's still my favourite, like by quite a long way. Sands of Time was just the perfect, like, sort of combination of storytelling, runny, jumpy, flippy, stabby, flippy, wahey, with all the time rewindy stuff as well. Like, Sands of Time was, of those three on the PS2, was the best one by miles for me. I did quite like the 2008 Prince of Persia with the emphasis on shitloads of free running, but
metal.
It was cool, but I didn't think it was as good because the levels felt more like a wheel where each pathway you could go down both ways. So there was never any concern that you were going somewhere you couldn't go. Like, there was everything just connected to everything, which is fine, but it did feel like you're just kind of going down corridors that are just, oh, I'm going to grab the ring now, I'm going to run on a wall, I'm going to do a flip. I was never in jeopardy. Whereas Sands of Time, you're like, right, you're going to run over a big hole. If you fuck it up, you're dead. Go. And that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. I'd like a new Prince of Persia, like a proper Prince of Persia. Do I think we're going to get one? No. But I think we are going to see that Mario Rabbids game. I think they're going to do a double dip like Bethesda are going to do with Skyrim. I think that's going to appear here and at Switch.
They had a thing on Easy Allies where they were saying about the leak that came out for that, and Brandon Jones said what they should do is they should embrace the fact that it's leaked and blame it on the Rabbids, and like that whole sort of a marketing speak where like Princess Peach is a badass and she's got guns, just like show like the Rabbids like running away with this and like writing it, and they're going like, what, she's got a gun, why are you doing this, and they're going like and they're like running it, and like it be a completely different game to kind of what's been shown in those screenshots, because that's I thought that was really astute. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more of the Cracked Butthole, which bizarrely has still not come out.
Oh, the Fractured Butthole. I
That's
like every time they show that, you hear Cartman giggle when the title comes up. Every single time you hear it. I mean,
we'll see.
I'm on a bit of a South Park kick at the minute, so I'm very much in for that.
Oh, cool. Do you play the first one?
I played like some of it. When I borrowed that 360 to play Dark Souls 2 for review,
yeah.
I played some of it and then I never finished it. It was really funny though. It was legitimately very, 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 very funny.
Got that, and I've never put it on.
Yeah, and South Park gets a lot of stick, but I still really, really enjoy the show, and it's exactly the right... It's the same humour, but you can play it now.
I think there's something to be said, though, for the fact that because it has been delayed for so long, I'd imagine a lot of that is Trey Parker and Matt Stone demanding a certain level of quality.
I think so.
And when it comes out, it's not going to be shy, is it?
No, because, I mean, say what you want about it, but, like, the first game, what I played of Order of the Stick, like, the writing was really good. Very, very, very funny. And I think if they bought this game out and it was just there, and it kind of did the same sort of level of jokes as... Like, do you remember the South Park first-person shooter game? Did you ever play that? On the N64 and the PS1?
No.
It was bollocks. It was really bad. And it was just like, oh, here's a look, it's a turkey. Look, it's a piss snowball. That was it. That was the jokes. Like, it wasn't even funny. Whereas this is literally like watching a long episode of the show, and you get to press buttons every now and again. I'm into it. And like the main menu, I think, like the main menu in the first game is pretty much like a Facebook page, and you kind of manage your party by going to their Facebook profiles and seeing what they've got. Like it's like really well put together. Like it's quite smart, because the whole conceit is that they're just kids playing, and this is all just to play. They even set up the video game in the season of the show where they were talking about Xboxes and PS4s, Xbox Ones and PS4s. There was a big three-parter where they were like, which one's better? And they had a big fight about it. And then ended up going, nah, let's just go play video games instead. And then just picked up the stick in the back garden, like, oh my god. Really funny. Like, they really led it together nicely. And this uses some of the characters from the superhero episodes they've used as well, where they are just kids playing. But it's just so, like, they lay it on so thick, you can't help but get immersed. Fucking love South Park.
And more importantly, which will be this year's Ubi game that Paddy gets excited for and then never buys?
Well, this is it. I'm trying to think. Probably The Crew 2. They'll show it off and I'll go, oh, that looks like it actually might be good this time. I'm really excited. And then nothing.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they're still going with The Crew. It seems strange. And it's Reflections, isn't it, that did Driver San Francisco?
Yeah. Is it due to a lack of... do you think that they're probably making enough money because, like, on the PS4 at least, from what from my perspective, there isn't really a brilliant arcade racer on it?
True.
Like, you've got Need for Speed. Woo. That's it, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know. It's
where's
a strange one for them to keep going
there's
with.
No Burnout, there's no Ridge Racer yet, you know, there's no arcade game on it.
Maybe it's one of those things where they've just purely because they've got that development team, they need them to do something.
Boys got to work.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sure that the same driving mechanics that are in The Crew are probably in Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2 as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a sort of an intermediate step.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the fact that, you know, every single one of their games seems to be like an immersive experience now. That's one of my problems with Ubisoft games particularly, but I think with lots of games these days, is that everything's got to be 4-player, team up with your friends, connect the app, challenges, daily challenges, weekly challenges, compete with your friends, and there's so many of them.
But they're
who
more
has
successful.
time?
They're more successful at that, like within multiple games than anybody. I mean, for all the kind of the mixed reviews that is it Ghost Recon got.
Yeah, Wildlands.
It sold like stupendously well.
Division did well as well, didn't it?
What's that?
Division did well as well, didn't it?
Yeah, really well.
But yeah, like for me, like that for me is an immediate tick in the negative column for me, because I know I'm not going to play a 4-player co-op game with loads and loads of loot and loads of missions and loads of that sort of stuff, because I'm going to play Destiny with my free time. So you compete with that. If you can't compete, I'm not buying you, sorry. Harsh but fair. Next up, next up, Monday, June the 12th. Well, technically, when we watch it, it'll be Tuesday at 2 a.m. 6 p.m. West Coast USA, PDT. It's Sony time.
Go for it, son.
Right, Sony this year. It's going to be games. I think they're going to mention the Pro at the start. I'm going to say, hey, look, the Pro's out. It's doing really well. Cheers.
Out for VR. Sorry, couldn't hear you.
I think there's going to be... I think they're going to show off more VR than they probably should. Do you think they've got anything in production for VR? Because all I'm seeing is people that are selling the VR units. Because the first 10 games came out and then that was it, wasn't it?
Well, Sony, I mean, you must admit, Sony do have a habit of bringing out these stuff like, you know, the Vita and the VR and stuff, and not
just letting it
move
off. Yeah,
and just kind of having a big build up, and then it
comes out and then it just sits there.
They closed a lot of first party studios that were working on that stuff. Don't know. It just seems like a strange one to me.
Yeah, Gorilla Cambridge, for instance, was one of the ones that were
apparently that's a good game.
Working on rigs, yeah, and it's like, well, what the hell? That was apparently like one of the good ones, you know. I mean, outside of Resi 7. What else is there that's come out that's been a big, proper, full price, you know, experience game for VR? Also, I think this does like lead to a weakness in VR. It's quite a good demo. Like it demos really well, but as far as repeated interactions go, like I mean, we played it with Pete early on, late on last year. Even he came down with it, and we had a day of playing with the VR headset. It was really fun. I had a really, really good time. It was properly fun. Do I want to buy one right now? No. What else am I going to... I've played those, you know, initial experience games, you know, and unless they show off something amazing, like, you know, new God of War, playable fully in VR, like, oh, okay. Maybe.
Well, there's something I heard on a podcast recently where they said that one thing that would be really cool for VR that doesn't seem to have been done anywhere is that have a kind of Life is Strange type game where it's not all about kind of running around with guns or being in cars or anything, where you can actually look around the room and talk to people and you're figuring out a mystery, and that'd be really immersive. That'd be really cool.
The slower stuff I think is going to be more immersive on that thing. I think you're not kind of going to suffer from that motion sickness of going for every 30 seconds, because it's it does set people off. The VR headset, you get to a point you're like, I need to take this off for a bit. I need a breath.
Yeah, it's not for me, I must admit.
Yeah, like when you get those messages that come up when you turn on a games console. It's like, don't forget to take a break every hour. This one's like, no, I'm going to take a break every half an hour. I need a break. I'm feeling queasy. I've got to take this off. So I think they're probably going to spend a bit of time on VR. I think more than they should. But I think Sony have to, they just have to go games this year. Because Microsoft are going, hey look, new machine. Nintendo are going to be doubling down on Switch this year. Going, hey look, Switch, here's a new interesting machine with new interesting games. The PS4's 3 years old at this point, You
don't think that there'll be any new hardware?
Nah, not this time. I think they've got the Pro out 2 recently and the VR 2 recently, I think, to push new hardware now. I think if they're going to do any hardware, and this, I'm not confident in this, it would be another handheld, I think. And even then, I'm not sure about that, because the Vita, they've essentially, they've not all but stopped production on it, haven't they? There's not a lot coming out for it anymore. You look at I do check the Vita store every week, to still play the damn thing. I'm sort of playing a few things in there while Laura's got the telly with Witcher. And I checked the store and it's like, oh look, this game that looks like a mobile game, and another game that looks like a mobile game, and some weird weeby Japanese game has a title I can't pronounce that looks terrible.
The thing is that Nintendo with the Switch has done the Vita better than Sony did the Vita, because essentially they've got your one-stop indie station, which everybody is really happy to have. With that kind of the Vita always had the most beautiful screen.
And those indies work so good on that machine, though. Yeah. Those indies were so good. Spelunky, Rogue Legacy, they work so well.
You can see why that's the case on the Switch, but the fact that it's cherried by those amazing Nintendo titles, it just means that you've got a caliber above, and even if the third party stuff doesn't come, you're still getting paced Nintendo titles that everybody's buying.
Well, you don't buy Nintendo for third-party titles, do you?
No.
No one does.
And it's kind of, it seems to be like a second console for everybody else, because it's stuff that nobody else is getting apart from the indie stuff, whereas everybody's really excited to actually have that on the thing.
Yeah.
As much as Stardew Valley's done really well on everything, having that on a touch screen, I think would be really cool, because you can select your little kind of elements to dig with and to break rocks with, and just having those on the touch would be great.
Is Minecraft out on Switch yet?
Yeah,
because I'm playing it on Vita recently, and it's because you can just touch it. It's like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think if Sony show anything, it would be a new handheld. But I think in this Switchy world,
anyone's got a really tough job to release a handheld, because Nintendo seem to be on 3DS form at the minute with regards to that. Which,
but that's not to say that the Vita was no good. The Vita was great,
not at all. But I think that if you've got your indie machine that's then backed up by breathtaking titles. Everybody bought Breath of the Wild. It sold more copies than Switches have been sold,
which is mental.
Everybody bought Mario Kart. Everybody's going to buy Splatoon. ARMS seems to have gone down really well, and all these games seem to be 2 or 3 months apart, and that's pretty cool, because everybody's going to play all the indie stuff in the meantime, and then go, oh yeah, we're all getting that, and I think that's interesting. So whilst I'd be interested to see Sony take another pop at it, I don't think they'll do it as well. Plus, Nintendo's got regular SD cards going into it, and that was a really big fuck up.
That's smart, yeah. But yeah, I think I don't think they're going to show any hardware this year. I think they're going to talk about it, but they're not going to they're going to talk about the old hardware. They're not going to show anything. I think it's going to be games.
Tell me about those games. Tell me about them.
Okay, so I
Especially the
think
games.
they absolutely have to show some more of that new God of War. Have to, because I need that. I need that dad war. I need that angry dad Kratos. I need to see how that works properly. Like, I am very, very excited because I love God of War. And
can we just stop this a minute and take a brief glance back to the way that the Sony show started last year with that orchestra?
Oh God, yeah, with the singing lady.
Yeah, and like the way that it went into God of War was fantastic. Really cool.
And I like that you didn't like it was God of War music, but like it sounded like it, but I couldn't nail it until they showed it. Yeah. Like, it's like, is it going to be Horizon? What's it going to be? You know, showing it off like that. Go on, son. Yes, please. Like that's how you reveal a game. With a big orchestral 100%. Bollocks, and then just have the main character walk out with a beard. Like, okay.
There was a sense of theatre, and that's one of my favourite things about E3. When somebody kind of gets into the fact that there's something exciting going on, and they're really looking forward to sharing it with you.
Yeah.
And Sean Layden's kind of risen to the challenge a little bit.
He's coming to his own. He was a bit iffy at the start, wasn't he? And he's really kind of adapted well, and I think he enjoys it now. I think he's not as nervous about it. Like those first couple of shows that he did, you could see that he was kind of holding his hands to his chest. You know, he was quite sort of guarded almost in his body language, but he's really sort of smoothed out now, and I think he's genuinely just good at showing things off. You know. I think
that was a good show last year.
It was a great show, and I actually think it was quite an understated show. I don't think it wasn't amazingly flashy, really. But again, this is a show that had Hideo Kojima walk down the stage on some magical glowing steps. It wasn't
games,
that
games,
flashy.
games, and that's what was great. I mean, we've both had criticisms in previous years where it's like there's a certain point where the show derailed, and you kind of went
the Bendis bit on that show 2 years ago. Remember that bit?
Yeah, but it didn't really happen last year.
No, it kept the pace up really nicely. Like, and it kind of didn't dwell too much on anything. You kind of showed a thing off. Here's a thing. Right, moving on. I think they have to do that this year. Okay, so God of War, yes, please. I want that in my face. I think we're going to see some more of that Days Gone thing.
Yeah.
That zombie, like lots of zombies that everyone thought might have been The Last of Us, that wasn't. I think they could pull a flop on that and have that exist in the same world as it. I don't think it will happen, but it'd be cool, you know. Build more of an area, but it looks like it's
quite emergent as well. And the video that we saw last year, someone was saying that they saw like different variables happen around that same place, and different stuff kicked in. So it's not.
And I love that video because it was, here's a billion zombies, they're running at you, go.
And they're falling over one another like water.
Like an avalanche of flesh.
They were like rushing water, weren't they? It was great.
That was really good. And just like firing into the thing, stopping a few, but ultimately just postponing the tide. Like, that was awesome.
Do you know what I'd love? I'd love it if that came out at the same time as State of Decay 2. So people on either side of the console divide have got something to play, and it's all about kind of the best quality for both. That'd be really cool.
That would be ace, actually. I'd enjoy that. Last of Us 2 has to be shown again. It's Sony, of course. They're going to show it.
Yeah.
I kind of feel a bit odd this year because you can't say Last Guardian. Like,
true, very true.
Yeah, what's going to fill that gap? I think we're going to see a bit more of Death Stranding as well, Kojima's thing. I think we might find out what kind of game it is. Maybe. Is it going to be a shooty game? Is it first person? Is it third person? Is it like a plot game? Like a Telltale game? What is it? What is it?
How far do you think he's gotten in with it? Because I'd say it's probably at least another 2 years.
Oh, easy. Like, we're way off on that yet, and I don't mind. Like, get it out when it's done, but it looks mental. And, you know, the way Kojima works, you know, get it out when it's done. Like, don't rush, don't push it out the door. Get it out when it's done. I think, if anything, Metal Gear Solid 5 has proven that, you know, when working to a timeline, because that, you know, from all accounts, had a pretty strained development process by the end. Like, it came out, and, you know, the majority of people, not myself included, but the majority of people feel that game is unfinished. You know, there's it ends, and there's a whole other chapter of stuff that could have happened and didn't, for better or for worse. So I'd rather he took his time And if it's going to be just proper, like, weird, like, get it perfect and release it perfect. Like, don't rush it and have people like, oh, we're going to do an update patch later that fixes it. Like, just this feels like the sort of thing you want to have release and be just dead on word one, like, perfect. So I think we're going to see a bit more of that. I don't know if Kojima's going to descend on a magical glowing staircase this year. I don't think he's going to be there, but we're going to see a bit, I think, and we're going to spend far too much time looking at CG Mads Mikkelsen. Maybe Mads Mikkelsen will show up to introduce it. That feels like the kind of move they do. Or Norman Reedus, perhaps, would be there to say, hey, look, I'm in this.
Or somebody else that's not been announced yet, like Emma Stone.
Imagine that. Playing the baby.
Did you see that Stephanie Houston apparently did a photo shoot as her Death Stranding character?
Oh, really?
The other week, or rumoured to be the character that she's playing in Death Stranding.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No. Oh, cool.
Spider-Man Insomniac.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's way your sort of thing.
I'm sort of into that. Yeah, it looks great.
That was a good trailer last year.
It was out of nowhere as well, like an exclusive Insomniac Spider-Man game. That's odd.
With the film coming out, I'd imagine that maybe they'll try and release that at the same time as the Blu-ray of Spider-Man Homecoming comes out.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because it's too soon really for like a July release, surely.
Unless it's basically done.
Yeah, true. That'd be a nice little shadow drop.
By the way, here it comes out next week. Go. I think this year we're going to see a bit more of that Detroit David Cage game about the robots. And David Cage gets a lot of shit. And I say this every time we talk about this game. David Cage gets a lot of shit, but at least he's trying something. He's having a go at something different. He's not just making man shoot. He's trying something a bit more, cinematic, a bit more plot-based, and it doesn't always hit, Heavy Rain had its moments of great, and it had its moments of absolute horseshit. But I'm interested. I think it's going to deal with some interesting questions. I think, given that Nier Automata has dealt with the whole, philosophy and robots thing so successfully recently, I've got every confidence. I think it looks like it's going to be quite fun.
Is it like one of those where you might not always be keen on what David Cage does, but you like the fact that David Cage exists?
Yeah, he's like a Swery or a Suda in that respect. I don't always enjoy their games, but I'm glad that they're there. Because, if I have to live in a world where every game is man with gun, shoot gun at bad man, no thanks. No thanks, please. No, give me something weird, and for every hit and every miss they do, I'm glad they're there, Even Kojima, I honestly think Kojima lives in that hole as well. Any of the sort of the auteur game designers that just make what they want to. You've got, outside of the indie scene, that's really important that we've got that on the AAA scene as well. And there's going to be, as soon as it comes out, oh, here we go, David Cage, and all the memes will come out again of Willem Dafoe looking sad. But I know, I think that's a bit reductive. I think it's important to give it a chance. Because I think a lot of people have written it off before it's even come out because it's David Cage making it.
True.
I think that's a little bit short-sighted. Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, I think we'll see a bit more of that. Probably another gameplay section.
Meh.
I'm not that interested. I liked Uncharted 4, but it just looks like a 30 quid pack.
Aren't they giving something away with it? Is it like a? Is it Crash or Jack and Daxter that you're getting free with it or something?
Could be Jack and Daxter maybe because
I'm sure there was something that was tied in with the purchase where I've kind of gone. Oh, that makes sense.
Maybe I don't know. Like it looks fine. Like it looks all right. It looks fine. But I since don't have my copy of that anymore, so it'd be difficult to play it anyway. What else? Have we got?
It's a standalone.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was DLC.
Nah.
Oh, bollocks. All right, then maybe.
I think it's standalone.
Oh, okay. I think Destas 2 will show up this year in Sony's show. Be a big part of it.
Dialing it back, do you think that Microsoft will... Well, this is something that's been mentioned, that like if the best version, the best console version of Destiny 2 is on Scorpio, do you think that anybody will be allowed to show it on Scorpio given the development deal with PlayStation? It's a weird one, isn't it?
It's a trick because they have got this deal, but they do want to sell as many copies of it as they can, don't they? So I think they'd be mad to ignore their, both sides, and especially they're coming out on the PC. It's like, it could show up on the PC gaming show as well.
True.
True. Shit.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I'd be interested to tune in for that. Honestly.
I'll let you know if it does. Like, hey, Destiny's on. Yeah, I think Destiny's going to get shown off. I think they're going to do like the big proper reveal of it at this show. I think there's going to be maybe a 10-minute presentation about it. Possibly a rehash of one of the trailers we've seen. Possibly some like first ever gameplay of the new so and so zone or something like that, or the first.
Do you think they'll drop like a? I mean, I know the beta's due sort of quite soon after that. Do you think they might drop an exclusive alpha on the PlayStation Store?
I'd hope so, because that's what got me into it. That's what the alpha of the first one, the one they're like, oh, by the way, it's out next week on an alpha. Like, what? Sign up, go. Like, oh, okay. And that's what I got onto, and that's the one that I digged. I know a lot of people got in with the beta, but I was in the alpha, and it was proper good, man. Like, it was everything up to Sepix Prime, I think. And that's quite a chunk of game to give away for a demo, really, or an alpha. Yeah. I think if they do something similar this time, I mean, we all know how Destiny plays now, but if they can put out in a beta or an alpha, like, a nice chunk of here's the game, here's why it's different, here's one of the new strike zones, or here's one of the new, patrol areas that's, a bit bigger, or here's a more story-focused section to sort of show you that we're actually doing, we're really trying hard on the story this time. Like, show people, like, what's missing, and then reinforce that with, like, by the way, the shooty guns, still really fun. Do you like shooting the guns? We still got that. Hey!
So what do you think about the validity of Blooders 2?
It's difficult, man, because I think it's coming, but I don't know if I necessarily want it. Because Blooders is that, like, lightning in a bottle again. It's that sort of, for me anyway, like, it's so good. It told its story. It told its own story. It finished its own story off as well. Like, it sort of comes full circle by the end, and it does close itself off, and there's not that many open ends. I mean, sure, there's a lot of, like, odd stuff, but for the most part, a lot of the lore and things is all together. Given the way that Dark Souls 2 and 3 have been received, in a generality sense, not just me and you, but like in a generality sense, I don't know. I can't see them wanting to possibly fuck up Bloodborne.
I hope that it's not a continuation. I hope it's not Miyazaki. It could be the game that's been written by the guy behind the Expanse TV show, which was rumoured to be Armored Core or Bloodborne, because the Expanse deals with a lot of kind of body horror type stuff in of itself. I'd kind of like Yu Tanimura from the start, honestly.
Everyone sign your bingo sheets.
But I think one of the strengths of Dark Souls 2 for me was the fact that it was a brand new world, and I think that Miyazaki doing a sequel to Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls with Dark Souls 3, I don't think that worked particularly well, and I'd quite like to see Tanimura get his say from the start, do something completely different with it. I'm sure somebody's mentioned it before, but like set in the Wild West, or make it like really different, massively different, because Bloodborne 2 as a name is going to sell anyway. But just have it be its own thing.
Yeah. Like, if they're going to do it, that's how I'd like them to do it. Like, keep it as a separate, completely new area, like completely new place for it to exist. But God, I don't know. I think that game said a lot of what I wanted to say, and I don't know what it gains outside of selling some more copies. Which I suppose
you'll buy it though, won't you?
Of course, I'll fucking buy it. Don't be silly.
Everybody will.
But like,
of course you will.
But to give them their due, the old Hunters pack was incredible. Like top tier DLC. Artorias of the Abyss level, good DLC. Like, it's good DLC. It's very
3 crowns. Good.
Everything except the DLC for Dark Souls 3, basically. Yeah, I wouldn't say, because Bloodborne's brilliant, and Dark Souls 3 wasn't for me, and it does give me a few concerns going forward that is have we tapped not the genre out maybe, but like, have they run out of ideas perhaps for keeping this feeling fresh and keeping it feeling interesting? Like, do I just want them to go make something different? Yes, I do. Do I want them to leave Bloodborne alone? Yes, I do. But will I buy it if they release it? Yes, I will. So it's a real difficult one. It's I don't know if I want it or not. It's really, really rough. Although something that they might reveal that I will buy with all of my money, Knack 2, motherfucker.
Which apparently is addressing a lot of the issues with the first game.
What issues? What issues? The game was great. Now, this is actually no bullshit. I am legitimately quite interested in Knack 2. I actually liked Knack 1. I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. You know, it's 5, 6 out of 10. It wasn't brilliant, but for what I got out of it, I had a lot of fun.
People have said good things about like Knack 2, which seems to be like a remake with stuff.
Sonic and Knuckles. I've seen that video. Someone's photoshopped it where you've got the red one and the blue one stood next to each other with Sonic and Knuckles, and it's like, fair enough. Yeah.
I will say that this year's hopeful remaster of Demon Souls is
ding. Check the sheet off, everyone.
So yeah, I'm really hoping that happens this year.
Nah, do you know what the HD remake is that's coming?
Tell me.
Medieval HD.
Cute world.
Oh, so Daniel Fortescue in VR. Go on.
Well, apparently more old PlayStation titles are on their way. So yeah,
I know what I want. I know what I want from the Sony show. I know what I want. All right, I want my racing game. Give me a fucking Ridge Racer. Go on, give us a Ridge Racer.
You deserve an arcade racer.
I've been playing.
The console deserves an arcade racer.
I've been playing Type 4 on my Vita again, and it's still really good. Like Ridge Racer Type 4 is one of my favourite racing games, and it's still just good just to sit down and just to like swish into. Give me that. Oh, Final Fantasy VII's probably going to get shown again, isn't it?
It's not.
Is it? Nah. What?
Because the latest news.
I know they've switched development house, haven't they? Or something like that.
They brought it in house. Yeah. Taking it away because the folks that were doing the Naruto games and Azura's Wrath were doing it. But it's now gone in house.
Interesting.
So
I still think they're gonna mention it. It's not a Sony show without a mention of a Final Fantasy game.
This was something that I saw on one of the Easy Ally podcasts, and they were saying that maybe this year they show that Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Oh please.
Will it be third person? Will it be first person? What will be done with it? Because that's almost been forgotten a little bit.
Yeah. Oh god, I want that. I want it bad.
I'm glad I could bring that to your door and add a little extra grist to your mill, sir.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, that's all of my Sony predictions at the minute. Do you have anything else before we move on?
I don't think so, because apparently Shenmue's not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I can't really think of anything else.
Surprise us, Sony.
Surprises, yeah.
Yeah. So on that, we're gonna play the music again now for a short break, so our computers don't blow up. And we'll see you after this short break.
Bibble. So, Nintendo next?
Yeah, sure.
Yee. So, are you surprised by the success of the Switch?
No. Well,
Why?
A bit. No, yeah.
Why?
No. Both. Yes and no.
Tell me.
Well, okay, so it's a Nintendo machine. So everyone I know that buys all the Nintendo machines was going to buy the Nintendo machine. Like, that's just a given. You know, that customer they haven't got to sell to, that customer's going to buy it. But it seems to be doing quite well in the sort of the normal market, if you know what I mean. Because, yeah, like, not to, you know, Nintendo people are going to buy Nintendo machines because that's where you get Nintendo games. It's that easy, you know, it's that simple. I think the fact that Mario Kart's done quite well with it, you know, and Zelda's flying away, you know, and everyone's really into that. Like, it's doing really well. It's done well on... It sounds silly. It's done really well on YouTube. Like, a lot of Breath of the Wild videos and stuff are appearing in my YouTube feed now. You know, got big channels playing it, and it's getting it in more eyes. And, you know, like you say, more people have bought Breath of the Wild than have bought Switches, which is ridiculous.
People are still talking about Breath of the Wild, though. That conversation is still going on. And I find that interesting, you know, this long after a game's released, that you're still getting articles, you're still getting people that are doing things differently to other folks, and That's all credit to the ingenuity that they put into that game.
Yeah, so I'm glad they're doing well. You know, we always need a third. I've had a play with one now. A friend bought one round a few weeks ago. We rather stupidly tried to play a 4-player game of Mario Kart on the Switch itself. I'm here to tell you, loyal listener, don't do that. It's too small. Don't do that. Your neck hurts. It's bad.
Did you then play on the telly?
They bought 2 of them round. Yeah, they bought 2 of them round, so we were able to crunch around the same bit, but they didn't have the dock with him, so we couldn't plug it into the telly and have a go on the telly.
Shame.
So we were all literally crammed around this tiny little Switch. So that wasn't great, but the machine itself was kind of fun. You know, the controllers feel nice.
Great screen.
I don't think I like the little controllers. As a man with average to above average size hands, they felt a little bit tiny.
The Pro controller is very nice, though.
I'm sure the proper controller options are better, but having that little half and half thing in my hand, like I never liked the Wiimote. You know, I was never a fan of the Wiimote.
Yeah.
I don't play games with a telly remote. I play them with a controller. But it's better. It's sort of more like a NES, like an original NES pad, really. You know, up, down, left, right, cut the buttons.
That screen
Job
is
done,
gorgeous
but
as well.
Screen's really nice.
Super gorgeous.
Yeah, and the little touch when they click the thing in the side where it kind of goes the little click as it goes in. That's kind of fun.
Beautiful noise.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of kit. But yeah, other than that, you know, other than the stuff I know's coming out, like your Splatoon 2s, your Rabbids thing, the new Mario thing that's coming out, I haven't really got much for Nintendo. I've not really been following it.
Tell you what would be really
anything
cool
anymore.
if they if it is apparently based on like an Android system that the Switch is running on. Could you imagine how good affordable space adventures would be if you could sync people's phones to it in the same room, and you know all the stuff that you do with like the engine or the lights and all that kind of stuff could all be done with 2 people sitting on their phones at the same time as somebody else was controlling it with the pad. That'd be amazing.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I don't know how that would. I suppose they just do it like a free app or like a connecting app, wouldn't they? Where it can kind of broadcast what you need to the machines.
Well, all it's doing is just beaming Bluetooth to somebody's phone. So you know, not over the net. I mean, as in like in the same room, because you've got that wonderful cooperative feel that was there on the original. But you turned my head towards that. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, played it at Gamescom, I think it was, wasn't it? And it was just really, really fun. Yeah, like I suppose the Switch has reduced some of the functionality by not allowing you to do TV and pad, but I suppose the pad is the TV, isn't it? So that's a shame.
I mean, a lot of people do prefer to play on the handheld version rather than the telly stuff anyway.
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot with Breath of the
I see that a
Wild.
lot. I've not seen one in the wild yet, but I don't take the train much, so I've not seen one in the wild. Because I've been looking. I have been looking. So yeah, I don't. As someone who doesn't really follow Nintendo that much, like, are they doing like a proper show? They are, aren't they, this year?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a direct or a proper show, but they normally, I mean, the last number of years they've done a direct and then had Treehouse and extra stuff on YouTube and things. I mean, they've got Mario's November.
Is there a Pokemon?
Apparently, Pokemon Stars is looking like Christmas, which is like the Switch version of Sun and Moon, which that to me that's a super system seller for Christmas if they can get that out before then. That's just you're printing.
Would that be the first technical? Would that be the first real home console Pokemon game?
Yeah, and I think that's something that I've always quite liked the thought of playing that on the big telly, and especially if I can wander away with it and play it on the on the bus or on the train as well. I think that's all they need to do is just bundle that like a motherfucker, and you won't be able. They just won't hit the shops. This Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is apparently still this year. I've heard that there's going to be a Xenoblade Chronicles export, which I'm obviously very happy with. We've mentioned the Mario Rabbids game. So yeah, I think they've clearly got enough momentum towards the rest of the year. new Metroid in the style of kind of a Breath of the Wild would be interesting. Like a real sort of huge open world science fiction game would be.
But when you say like new Metroid, like that's almost a joke in its own, isn't it? At this point, because that feels like one of the things that you say. Everyone says every year, new Metroid, and then if it is a Metroid, it's something different, like that little Freedom Force thing that was on the Vita, the 3DS, which by all accounts was still good, but it's not a proper Metroid.
I'm wondering if like they could, because again, there's been no F-Zero for such a long time. I'm wondering if Nintendo maybe approached the folks that did that, Fast Racing Neo, the sort of Wipeout type game.
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, that's on there, and just sort of see if they want to kind of work on an F-Zero or something. That'd be kind of neat. With an appropriate producer.
See, for me though, like that. I think Nintendo. I think they're going to probably. Do I think they are or not? See, I'm not sure. Regarding third-party games, do you think they're going to be wanting to show off that they've got them, or do you think they're going to double down?
I honestly don't know if any are coming, and I don't know if anybody's asked.
Yeah, because if you're not buying a Switch for FIFA, you're not buying a Switch for COD. If you are, you're an idiot.
No,
let's be fair.
I think the indie stuff's going to continue to do well for them in the spaces between the big Nintendo products. And I've seen a much greater spotlight on those titles as well. Games that might get lost in the Xbox or PlayStation stores, where people have gone, "Oh, this has just gone up on the store. Have you heard if it's any good?" And there's been the odd one or two which have been great little games that have been up there that loads of people have started playing. They've done really well. Oceanhorn's coming on Switch, which I think will do really well as well. Yeah, it's an interesting place to look at. Plus, in a lot of the surveys that have been done of late, I think Microsoft had like a recent survey which was quite heavily slanted towards whether people were interested in the Switch. I can see it as being a lot of people's like second console because it's doing something different from the main ones. Plus, as I heard on a podcast the other day, that your third party games, you've already got something for that, whether it be your PC, your PlayStation, your Xbox.
Yeah, completely agree.
So what about other stuff? Is there anything outside of this that you think might appear anywhere else? I've heard, jumping back to the Sony stuff, I mean, obviously Monster Hunter Double Cross has been announced on Switch now, which gets a Japanese release on August the 25th, which is a system seller for me, but there's lots of rumours continuing to swirl that Monster Hunter 5 is going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Which is huge.
Crackers, isn't it? That's a big flip-flop.
Super bonkers. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see if that one works its way through.
Yeah. I think I really want to see the new thing CD Projekt Red are working on, Cyberpunk 2077.
Apparently there's some more Witcher that's due as well, or people are speaking that there may well be not.
There's a telly show, isn't there?
Not even that, but they may not actually be done with The Witcher.
Well, I'll buy it. Just can I send you a tenner now? Just here, take it now.
I'm surprised Gwent's taken as long as it has to come out.
They got to get it balanced, haven't they? It's a competitive game. They've got to get it balanced. Gwent in the actual in the main game, Gwent can be like either a very tense battle or a complete and utter bending over, like depending on how your cards come out. So I think they've probably been working to try and make it fair and balanced, perhaps. But by all accounts, everyone seems to be enjoying it. So maybe we'll get some Gwent, maybe we'll get some Cyberpunk 2077. I hope Red Dead 2 shows up at some point from someone.
Rockstar
Red Dead Redemption
really
2.
Been that fussed with E3 though, traditionally.
No, I still want to see it though. I'm still desperate to see the damn thing. Like I really want to just get it in me, whether it's at E3 or whether they just do their own little thing. I think we're going to see some more Metal Gear Survive. God help me. And I think I'm going to be sick in my own shoes when that comes on.
Because you'll want it, or because it's not?
Oh, it's just why would you do that? It's
Because
Slashy
Konami.
Souls, man. It's Slashy Souls. Just because it's got Metal Gear on the front doesn't mean it's going to be good. They're using the same engine, sure, but it's, hey, look, what if Metal Gear was a zombie horde game, multiplayer, everything that I don't like about games they're putting on it. It's like,
I hope they show me Dragon's Dogma running on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
oh yeah, that's a thing, isn't it?
It's like August, September time, isn't it? So
Okay, here's the thing. I want to talk to you about this,
okay,
about Dragon's Dogma.
okay.
Okay, I know we've been banging the drum for the HD port for ages. We have, haven't we? Every time Capcom announces a game that's a HD port, you get upset.
Yeah,
And then they announced this, and you were like, "Ooh."
I put an Easter egg in my tweet with regards to that, and nobody picked up on it.
What?
Because I put a tweet out saying that about Capcom remaster another game that's not Dragon's Dogma. Producer Nirisa said, "I keep trying to mention it, but I'm surrounded by twats." And the Easter egg is that Nirisa is an anagram of Arisen.
Oh, okay.
Clever, aren't I? Just in that one instance.
For the morning crowd.
Just in that one instance.
Too much for the morning crowd. That was the problem.
Go on.
So I'm really glad it's coming out. I'm really glad it's coming out. I'm glad it's a thing. I don't think I'm going to play it again, though.
I am going to buy it on both formats.
I know you are.
I am going to support it on both formats, and I'm just sad that one of my favourite people in the world, Mr. Patrick Smith, who I love very dearly as a beautiful friend that I've grown with for years, that I'm not going to be able to borrow your porn, sir.
Well, here's the thing for me with this, right? Here's the thing. I really like Dragon's Dogma. Right? I liked it a lot. Played a lot of it. Am I going to give it another 100 hours of my life?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
The thing is, we are in, we've been talking for a while now about games. There's so much good shit coming. This year has been... this year has been ridiculous so far. This year, if you want a new good game, then choose one about 50. There's been so much
good stuff. The Masterworks all, you can't go wrong.
Exactly. There you go. Well done.
It's with fire and ice.
Do you feel proud? Strike the tail! But here's the thing. There's so much good shit coming out. There's new shit coming out. I want to play new stuff.
You see, I'm with you on this a lot of the time because it's kept me from the Bioshock collection. Because I like my playthrough of Bioshock 2 in particular was really personal to me and stuff. And I don't know if I could play the new version. I don't know if I could walk in those shoes in case it kind of...
It's like me in the original. It's me in the original Nier.
Yeah, as to whether it would undermine my original playthrough, but I will say that I obviously loved Dragon's Dogma on PS3. I've started it again on 360 in the past, and still loved it. And I think the thing is for me that I love the fighting mechanics. It's fun to play and fight with it, and I don't know. It's going to be exciting on day one, whereby the first time I played it, I didn't really know anybody else that was playing it, and was just borrowing random pawns, and I didn't really know sort of other podcasters or have that many sort of folks on friends list on PSN and stuff. And when I did come to it years later, again I saw that Jay Taylor was playing through it. Sean Bell had got his Incrediman character that he'd done. A number of folks from Kane and Rince had got were playing for the for that podcast and were borrowing mine and stuff. And it would just be great on day one to go on there and just see all my mates pawns and go through the game, seeing them develop and evolve, and to have that conversation in the immediate. Whereas when I was first playing the game, I was banging that drum proper hard for that game because nobody else was playing it that I knew. That's exciting for me because it's a different experience. Plus, I do really love the moment to moment gameplay in that. I enjoyed the fighting with my striders and stuff, and
see, I'd have been more interested personally. I'd have been more interested, or I would have bought. Not to say I'm not interested, because it's a good game, The online one that came out, I'd rather have seen that come through for
Deep
us.
down. I wonder if we'll still see it.
Shit, Deep Down. That's the point. What happened to that?
Well, the trademark's been renewed again, and apparently it's in-house. It's changed quite a lot from when it originally was, but there's got to have been a lot of money put into that at this point. That
I'm just
pulling
up an article about it now. Actually, Deep Down. Apparently now it's going to be set in a quiet mountain town. There's going to be a car. And
you drew me in then for a moment, you bitch.
Yeah, and Satan himself sitting on the back seat. Yeah, Deep Down. There you go. That's okay. Is that your pick for what you think is going to rear its ugly head again?
I wonder if that might be this year's Last Guardian.
Maybe.
Because that was PS4, wasn't it?
It was announced with it, wasn't it? With that weird bollock neck dragon, the thing that was in it.
Yeah.
And sort of the floppy looking dragon, this is real time. That looks very, very nice.
Yeah, Capcom apparently filed a second trademark for Deep Down in February this year.
Maybe we'll see that then.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm just sitting back and absorbing as much of it as I can this year. I've got the week off as well. I plan on sitting on my fat ass on the sofa and absorbing.
I would like. Wondering if there's going to be more Final Fantasy remasters for this year. For me, would like the Lightning trilogy, please. Thank you. Just for me.
Yeah,
and Holly Bennett.
I want them. I want them to take the Final Fantasy 12 remaster and put that on the Vita instead, because I won't play that on the telly, but I will play that on the Vita.
You won't pay full price for that. You'll wait until it's £20 at Christmas.
30 bastard quid? No. Yeah, 20 quid, fair. 30 quid, too much. Come on now.
So in other stuff, I'd say I'm obviously E3 is open to the public this year as well, which is going to be strange.
I can't wait for every YouTuber to go.
What was it that Steve Burns was saying, with regards to that sort of stuff? He was like, the general public could get in anyway. They just needed to apply for registration and say they were from weedgamerdrop.net or something. Just it doesn't really matter, you'll still get in. Big Jeff, Jeff Keighley has always been E3 for me. It's always really exciting when Jeff just says hello. And he's doing he
runs the YouTube gaming one, doesn't he?
Last
couple of years he's been on that. That's been the good one, yeah.
Yeah, I love him to pieces. I know a lot of people kind of might not agree, but when Jeff says hello at the start of E3, that's when I know Santa's come down the chimney.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and he's doing a big live show this year instead, over 2 days as well, where there's going to be loads of gameplay. I think it's going to be a full audience there as well, and those recent shows that he did were really good. The ones that he did towards Christmas time, I think, autumn Christmas time last year on YouTube.
Okay.
Which were almost like an extension of what he normally does at E3. But yeah, I've got all the GameSpot clan are coming together. Tomorrow's the high spot at GameSpot. So he's always double passionate about whatever was going off when I tuned in last year. So I look forward to that.
Hey.
And Easy Allies as well. They would
see myself.
watching...
What? Carry on.
Yeah, they were really cool last year. I mean, I'd watched the catch-ups of the live reaction show stuff, and that was great. But also when they went out onto the floor and they were playing games during the day, they were then podcasting at night, and they were clearly absolutely knackered, but they were so passionate to share the stuff that they experienced. And even when it looked like they were closing down a lot of the time, it's oh, hold on, I saw this. And it was seeing that level of endeavour and passion is exactly what I love about E3. When it's not got to go to E3.
Hard life, isn't it?
Yeah, but everybody else can tickle beyond that. I don't care.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to do what I always do, which is sit down, watch all the live shows as much as I can, find the good channel, which is usually the one with Jeff Keighley on it, and pretty much stay there. and then watch the Sony show twice.
And then you do the thing whereby you go onto Twitch and you see like the live PlayStation or the live Nintendo stuff, and then if you're on like say GameSpot and something you don't like comes on, you maybe jump across to IGN and they might have somebody else on there with the game that you like. You're like, oh yeah, I'll watch this for a bit, and then next up we've got not really asked about that. I wonder who's on this, and I just
follow the same devs around channel to channel, like, oh, he's here now.
I just find that tremendously exciting. But I'm up for all of it.
Video games, innit?
Aye. So thank you for listening to our pre-3. All I do each night is pre-3.
Gross.
I'll be a part of you again.
We're not talking about pre right now.
Okay. Right. Well, thanks very much. We'll do some stuff next week. Hopefully, we can overcome technical difficulties on my end continually still. But yeah, excited. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Hope you're ready for another 10 hours of podcast next week.
Oh god, it's going to be exciting. Oh, I'm up for this. Right. Bye.
Bye then.